Thank you, Noel. And let me begin by first thanking you for the very kind introduction to be here as part of the Zone 8 Institute. And it is a place that has a very special place in my heart, to be quite candid. I have spent a lot of time in your neck of the woods. I've been president's representative in the Pacific Islands with past District Governor Malini in Fiji. I have been to the pets in New Zealand as of just this past February. I've spent tons of time in Australia at $1 million dinners, and I feel like there's just so many people on the other end of this call that I have special relationships with, and it is a delight to be able to be here with all of you this evening. I am here in my official capacity as a trustee at this point, and I will assume the role that Noel talked about on November, or rather October 1st, after the challenge period is done. But I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that I went to the mailbox yesterday and I got Rotary Down Under, and it was really cool to to receive this magazine and to see the lovely images that you had on the front of it, and the special article. So thank you very much to all of you for your kind support and your friendship. And we obviously have a very special bond that will happen in 2023 with the convention in Melbourne, when we travel all there together from all points of the earth to celebrate our great organization. And Nick and I look forward to that more than you can possibly believe. Today, I am here to talk with you about the topic that I've been tasked with: is a modern Rotary. And what does that mean? What is our future? I think is the way that we can put it. And you know what? The best thing that I can probably tie it to is the opening song that was played at the very start of this, just prior to Noel's introduction. Life goes on, steady and strong. And that is the truth. We pick up one foot and we put it in front of the other. We have been challenged and tested like never before, but we pick one foot up and we go forward steady and strong. And that is because that's who we are. When the world stepped down, we stepped up. And during this COVID pandemic era, Rotarians have stepped forward in ways that have been large and small, great and just unimaginable, to be quite candid. And it is remarkable to understand what we have done at a time when we all had to, hunker down in our own homes. Those on this call, on this space, you all understood what it was to take care of everyone around you. And as we look at this modern world that we're in, it could never be punctuated more profoundly than what we are going through right now, to be honest. A couple of years ago, we started out on this venture to look at the next iteration of Rotary's strategic plan. And in that, we came up with 4 key priorities: to increase our impact, to expand our reach, to enhance our participant engagement, and the last one was our ability to adapt. And I was on that committee at the time, and ability to adapt was one that we kind of chalked off to, well, you know what? It's something that will be probably more internal. It's going to be speaking to that ultimate flexibility that we passed at the 2016 council. We're going to focus on that flexibility, but it's going to be more of an internal driver. Never could it have been more real than it has been in this past year. Our ability to adapt. We have stepped up in ways which we could have never possibly imagined. We have innovated. We have thought of new ways to do Rotary. We have stretched outside of our boundaries. We said we wanted to be creative, but my goodness, we have been tested to the max. And you know what? We showed up. We are inducting members into clubs right now. We are chartering new clubs right now. This is the modern future of our organization. We're doing it in real time. Now, membership has been something that your countries, mine, for both North America, the US, and Canada, for Australia and New Zealand, some parts of Europe, membership has been on the decline, quite candidly. Now, not surprisingly, in a pandemic era, would we find that, but really it's not candidly associated with that. We've been kind of on a bit of a decline for a little while, and particularly the past 5 years. When we look at the changeover from June 30th to July 1 of this year, we lost 14,500 ish members, 12,000 of them from the U.S. and Canada, where the largest hit was taken from. And so we need to look at, there are Rotary parts of our Rotary world that are growing, and there are parts that are not growing. And I think we really need to look at what are the things, as again we look at this modern era of Rotary. What do we take from what we're going through, and how do we learn from it? And quite candidly, I think there's so much to learn from this pandemic era. What we understand and what we know is that we join and we stay for service and fellowship. Those are the reasons. We know it. It's born out of research. So, how do we improve upon that at a time like this? Well, people are stepping up in service because that's what we do. Um, Fellowship, yeah, we want to get together in person, and right now it's a little bit inhibited. We'll get back to that. Of course, we'll get back to that. But right now, the best of us is taking care of those who aren't able to be with us. And so, looking out for the members of our club who are maybe not able to connect in ways online. Maybe they're separated. Maybe they're finding it to be a very challenging time. And it's incumbent upon us to reach out to those people to make sure that they feel supported. That's what we do. That's the best of us. That's the best of humanity. And that's who we are. That's who we are as Rotarians. So, we'll climb through all of this. We'll get better at it. But how do we do better at membership? And quite candidly, I think that we don't really have a problem asking people to join our organization. I think for your countries and mine, I think what we need to do a better job of is asking people what they want out of this experience and then delivering on that promise. We sell a really great product. We just don't necessarily deliver on what it is that we offer. And so if we ask people when they join, what do you want out of this experience? Then you know what? I think we can do a better job of giving them that in the end. So that's a little bit of a take on membership. The Rotary Foundation, let me talk a little bit about that for a moment, because that's one thing that I think we have an opportunity to move the needle on in a profound way. And you're going to hear from a couple of speakers tonight, in particular, Mike McGovern, who is our IPPC chair. And he's going to tell you the things that we're doing with Polio Plus as the International Polio Plus Committee chair. And you know what? It is mind-boggling to understand what we have been able to do from the polio perspective into the COVID perspective. We have taken our infrastructure that we have created, the point of pride that we should all have in what we have done over the past several years to create this kind of infrastructure with our partners, and then be able to transit and pivot it into a COVID world has been nothing short of breathtaking. And I know Mike will talk about this in earnest, so I don't want to step on where he's going with that. But it really is truly important to understand that we resonate right now because of what we do in a very profound way. And our organization couldn't be more relevant than it is at this very moment in time. Our Rotary Foundation has shown that we have been able to step up like no other time in our history. We were able to transit in real time into providing disaster relief and disaster response grants to the front line, to people to be able to provide all kinds of different things, from PPE to ventilators to all kinds of different support apparatus. And you know what? That's because our Rotarians, they understood that we needed to take action. We didn't sit back. Like I said, when the world stepped down, we stepped up. And that's what we do. That's because we are Rotarians. You know, my youngest brother, we were sitting together recently. Well, actually, not so recently, a couple of years ago, I would say, and I was prepping for an interview, and it was for a magazine article about doing humanitarian work, and I was, bantering with him about, what does that mean? And out of his mouth came these words: "In order to live in the kind of society you want, you have to help build it." In order to live in the kind of society you want, you have to help build it. And that's the privilege that we are all afforded by being Rotarians. We all have this ability to jump in, to do something, to dream big. And I think that that's one of the largest calls to action that I can give to all of you, is to dream big, to think outside the box. We have an opportunity right now to change how we look at things, because the world has given us this opportunity. We've been knocked down, we've been battled, we've been battered about, but we come out stronger. And that means that we get to look at things in a way that we've never done them before. And that's a good thing. And that's going to be the strongest outcome, I believe, of this pandemic. For us as an organization to rise up, to understand that we can do things, in a way that has never been done. Those words that are spoken sometimes in our clubs, and it's been spoken in mine, but that's not the way we do it. You know what? Those words, I think, just got checked at the door. So think outside of the box, think creatively, think of the ways that you can be a modern Rotary. And a modern Rotary doesn't mean throwing out what we stand for. Our core values, the four-way test, our objects of Rotary, service above self. This is who we are. Those are the things that stand the test of time. But doing things in a different way, maybe perhaps that's the secret sauce. And maybe that's how we go forward in today's modern world. Let me leave you with a favorite quote of mine, and this is one by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He said, "Everyone has the power for greatness, not for fame, but for greatness, because greatness is delivered through service." I wish for all of you a life full of abundance of service. And I thank you so much for your kind attention and for being Rotarians and for being part of this journey. And a wonderful Sunday morning to all of you. Thank you.